the Torah is the foundation, right? Yeshua says you have to build your foundation on a rock, right? And the rock is a very prevalent metaphor, a very prevalent idea in the Torah. So everything is built off this rock, and you have no understanding of anything else without the Torah. And if something apparently contradicts in the New Testament, because I don't think anything really contradicts, right? It would have to be reconciled to the Torah. If not, it could be just a misunderstanding, right? Or it could be something that someone is just telling us, right? So, for example, we have King David. He conspired to have Uriah murdered. Well, that's obviously not Torah. Like, we know that based off of the Torah that's wrong. And so the foundation is the Torah, and you go, oh, King David did this horrible thing. Obviously, if you keep reading, we understand that that's not good. So we use the Torah as the foundation for everything that we believe, and believe that not one jot or tittle will be passed until heaven and earth pass away.
Amen. So that's awesome. First of all, and 50 to 100 people is a way bigger fellowship than most Torah keepers have. So, I'll give you a lot of consolation there. The idea that you can have families come together with kids and parents and talk about God and read the Bible is absolutely a great thing, and it should be a goal for anyone who's looking to build a community of God-fearing people, which is what needs to happen. So I suppose I'll ask you this, because I was reading Acts recently, and they're discussing how when they want to teach the Gentiles the gospel, their message was like, you don't have to focus too much on ceremonial law or ritual law or things like even circumcision or a lot of the practices of the Torah. They said, we'll just have you refrain from certain basic things, almost similar to the Noahide laws from the rabbis, and because to them the main thing was you accept Jesus Christ, right? So it seems like that opens up the door for Gentiles to follow the Bible without necessarily doing every commandment. What made you want to follow the religion of Jesus, as in like Jesus himself was an Israelite in Israel following the Torah? What made you want to convert to Torah observance?
It's what I read in the text. It's what reconciled the text the best for me, right? When someone wants to become any religion, insert religion, you generally go, okay, hey, I'm going to be like, let's pretend that I want to become a Mormon, right? I go to a Mormon and say, hey, I want to become a Mormon. Mormon goes, here you go. Here's the Book of Mormon. This now applies to you, right? Do all the things in there, right? So that's how I reconcile the wanting to keep the religion. If I'm following Jesus, I'm adopted into the family of God. And whether that means that we're Israelites, I believe we are, right? But whether that means that we are Israelites because of faith, a faith-based belief, or you become an adopted child of God, I don't think God really cares if we have like this the right terminology when we're referring to ourselves, right? But in any event, if I want to follow Jesus, and he said, hey, keep the commandments, therefore make disciples of the nations, teaching them all that I've commanded you. And then John says we should walk as he walked, and I started studying the Torah. Walking is like halacha, right? It's something that you do and how you keep the Torah, not like it's in the context of keeping Torah. So that terminology is in the book of Leviticus 23. If you walk contrary to me, I will give you these plagues, right? And if you walk and you keep my commandments, then I will bless you, and this kind of things, right? So walking is very important. And so walking is living out the Torah, and the text itself bears that we should keep the Torah, that we should follow Jesus and do what Jesus did. And so I believe it's a very accurate way of trying to do it. Not that I'm not saying I have everything right at all by any means. I'm just trying to learn, right? I'm learning less like anyone else, right? And I'm prone to misunderstandings, and I'm prone to misreadings and all that stuff, right? And prone to eisegesis, reading my own interpretations into the Bible. So I understand that, but that does not mean we can't strive to be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. I mean, the Torah says walk in the ways of Yahweh, right? It doesn't mean you're going to be him, obviously. There's
Amen.
but we're supposed to try to emulate him. We're created in his image, and the best way to get to know ourselves is to get to know him, and we'll get to see where we come from and how we're supposed to be behaving. And I would agree, especially when you start the Bible from the beginning. Nothing in the Torah indicates that deviating from these commandments will be beneficial to you. As in, it's not a higher level of observance to stop following the Torah. It's actually clearly described as the ideal. So, yeah, I mean, someone who eats pork is not an evil person, but also, or even someone who works on Shabbat, like. Shabbat is explicitly given to the land of Israel, the people in Israel. This is the law of the land and this nation. So, if you're a quote unquote Gentile from a different nation and you're treating others with respect and kindly, and you're not resting on the Sabbath, or you're not circumcised of the flesh, right? Things like that. I can see why Torah believers would not try to push that belief on the rest of the world. At the same time, someone who was initiating themselves into the biblical faith would absolutely see that that is the ideal, and that it doesn't take away from circumcision of the heart to have circumcision of the flesh, because in fact it's just more. You're actually, what you're doing is you're mirroring that internal process externally. As a man, you're actually willing to cut off the piece of skin that protects your manhood as a sacrifice, to Yahweh, a covenant in the blood with Yahweh. That's not primitive and stupid and obsolete. It's real and it's tangible and it's as relevant as ever. So someone who wants to be fully part of that covenant, and the Torah speaks about eating from the Passover offering. And the idea of the Passover offering is the celebration of the freedom. If you want to be truly free as part of God's people, from Egypt, be freed from Egypt as part of God's people, you need to be circumcised in order to eat of that sacrifice. So that's really the only time sojourners, gerim, are told that they must be circumcised.